Hi guys, Paper Pig Golf here, and today I'm going to review the top 3 rangefinders for entry level on the market at the moment. On the left we have the very popular and probably the benchmark, the Bushnell Tour V3 with PinCaddie Jolt technology. This one is not the slope edition, it's a cheaper one. As I said, we're looking at entry level rangefinders here. Then we have the Leupold PinCaddie 2 and the Nikon Coolshot 20. So sparing you the unboxings, these are the 3 cases and the rangefinders inside them. And we can see they're all pretty similar. The Bushnell is the only one with the proper carabiner. Also features a belt loop, although it's quite tight. The PinCaddie 2 features a carabiner as well, but a flimsy plastic one on the Leupold. The Nikon Coolshot has a 2-sided Velcro. So it's quite easy to attach to lots of different things and very sturdy in terms of lockup. Now let's look at the catch mechanism on each of these cases. The Bushnell has a magnetic latch, which is very handy. The Leupold has a very weird sort of loop and hook, quite difficult to use on the core, certainly not the kind of thing you can do with one hand or with gloves on. I think it's poorly designed. The Nikon Coolshot, really smart looking case, probably the nicest of the lot. The latch is just a button though, so I think I find that basically I don't use the latch at all. But thankfully the fit is quite snug. So here we have all 3 rangefinders side by side. We can see the Bushnell is easily the largest, very aggressive lines, quite interesting. And then the size of the other 2 are quite diminutive. Looking at them side by side, we can see that the Nikon is easily the smallest of the 3, and the Bushnell is easily the largest. Looking at the weight of these 3 devices, 134 grams for the Nikon, 174 grams for the PinCaddie 2, and the Bushnell weighs at 206 grams. So interestingly, despite the size, the Leupold and the Bushnell are quite comparative in weight, but the Nikon is easily the lightest. So Nikon easily being the smallest form factor, they all run on C2 batteries. Those will easily last you a season, maybe 2. For some reason, the Bushmaster has a tripod mount. I'm not really sure why you'd want that, but it's there if you want it. All of these feature lanyard strap holes, although the Nikon is the only one that I found that actually did come with a hand strap. So in terms of how you'd actually pull these out of the case, on the PinCaddie 2 I found pulling on the scope. The Bushmaster, similar story, around the side of the scope is easily where you're going to get your fingers there. And the Nikon, you could grab it from top and bottom, but the hand strap really comes in quite handy. Worth noting, as you can probably see already, this one is actually the only one that is easily and comfortably placed in your pocket, and you could easily take a shot. In terms of optics, the Nikon and the PinCaddie 2 feature 6x scopes, while the Bushnell features a 5x scope. The 5x scope on the Bushnell is very easy to use. However, I do find it wanting in terms of just outright distance, so I definitely found the 6x scope being more useful, although the eye relief on the Leupold and the Nikon were a little harder to use. In terms of actual range finding, I found that they were a tie between the Nikon and the Bushnell. The Leupold I found honestly not very good. It's better than nothing, but not much better than nothing. I found myself having to relaze targets multiple times to get a reading, while the other 2 I found very reliable first time, every time. So in terms of actual range finding use, I found the Bushnell gives you the most confidence. So you get a reading within 1 second of doing the lace, and then maybe a few seconds later you get a jolt telling you, hey, I found a pin. That being said, I found the accuracy on the first readings to be accurate enough that I never really waited for the jolt. So, you know, your mileage may vary on that one. The caveat to having this technology though is that it's really designed to give you one reading, and it's really designed at reading the flag. So if you're going to take multiple readings like front of the green, back of the green, sand trap on the left and flag on the right, you're going to have to go through multiple of these actual scenarios. The Nikon, on the other hand, I guess you could say is a little bit more old school. You hit the button and it starts giving you live readings straight away, like within 1 second. And it keeps updating that, and I'd say it updates it faster than 1 second even. So as soon as you fall off the flag, you'll get a reading for what's behind it. As soon as you drop it, in front of the green, you'll get the green reading. So I normally, within 5 seconds, I'm able to get like 4 or 5 good readings, and I know what they are. I'm quite confident in terms of what it's actually showing me. Between the two, I prefer the Nikon. I can get more readings from it in less time. I only have one caveat about the Nikon. On flags that do not have a reflector, going beyond 220 yards is going to be a little bit iffy. I found the Bushnell a little bit more reliable on flags without a reflector and beyond 220 yards. Apart from that, 300 yards is going to be fine. And then because it's entry level, you also have to consider price. The Leupold is in the 200 range. It's got decent form factor, but I'd say its usage is relatively poor. It's not a bad product. I would certainly use one as opposed to using nothing, and $200 is relatively good value, even though it might be bettered, in this case, by the Nikon. I think the Nikon, basically you can get them for about 160 or 170. It beats all three. It's the top in terms of functionality. It has the best form factor. It's easily the lightest, and it's the cheapest. The Bushnell being around 220 to 250, I'm not seeing the value in, especially at its huge size. Alright, if you want to see more of these reviews in future, or you've got one of these at home, let me know what you think.